Hello again, Guardians, and welcome back to the channel for another Destiny episode. Before we get started, I wanted to first announce the winners of last week's 1000 Silver giveaway / Destiny Emblem giveaway, because it is Tuesday and we're sitting in the hot seat, and you all know what that means. Somebody won 1000 Silver or a Destiny Emblem from Bungie's store. That goes to Heavy Turtle, so congratulations Heavy Turtle on winning last week's giveaway. All you have to do now is please reply back to the message I left you on YouTube, and then please DM me on my official Twitter page, linked down below in the description. Alongside that, everybody that's watching this video right now, I'm giving away another 1000 Silver for Destiny this week, or a Destiny Emblem way from the Bungie store. All you have to do to enter and to win is be subscribed, show your support by liking the video, and leave a comment down below in reference to this video and what weapons you'd like to purchase. Now this video, in the beginning of every single week on Tuesday on the reset for Destiny, we're going over the vendor roles and the items. With the Age of Triumph update, everybody knows the vendor roles or the weapons in the vendors change every single week. That means that some weapons might be better than last week's weapons, and that also means vice versa. This week's weapons might be crap compared to next week's weapons, and that's why we're going over the top 5 weapons this week I believe you should go and take a look at. I'm not saying you should go and purchase all 5. I'm just saying that if one really stands out to you and has some really good rolls, then go ahead and purchase it. So starting off, we're going to talk to Lakshmi. We always talk to Lakshmi. This chick is my woman. She's got some pretty good stuff sometimes. So this week's pretty interesting. Lakshmi doesn't really have very many things I'd like to discuss, so we're going to talk about the Waltz. It's a pulse rifle, and it's not a pulse rifle class that a lot of people would like using. I mean, it kind of falls between the low rate of fire and then the Hawksaw. So it's kind of somewhere in middle ground. It's still good. I die by it a lot, but this roll in particular is fairly decent, okay? So you've got counterbalance, you've got perfect balance, and then you've got high caliber rounds, or you can use hip fire. And then you also have steady hand IS, which makes this gun fairly decent. So we've put it on the list. It's one of the top 5 weapons you can go and check out. So, I mean, you checked it out just now by watching this video, but if you want to go and buy it, go and work your way over to Future War Cult and purchase it today. Moving on, we've got some stuff over down by the Vanguard. So we got to go see Ronnie. Ronnie, what do you got for me, buddy? What do you got for me today? Ronnie is my dude. Look at him. Look at him. He's awesome. So I'm kind of on a tie here, okay? So I'm really thinking on 2 weapons altogether. I'm thinking of the Continental, and I'm also thinking of the How Dare You. I'm going to go more towards the How Dare You, but we'll go over both guns. I'm just going to add this Continental to the list just because it's not going to be in the top 5 original weapons. It's going to be an extra weapon this week, but that's just due to the fact that this weapon's not that bad. The Continental Auto Rifle is still pretty decent, especially with the Auto Rifle buff. But we're going to go over the How Dare You first. This weapon, on the other hand, man, this has reactive reload, reinforced barrel for that range, and triple tap. Man, okay, so one, this would be really good in some situations in Crucible, but this would also be really good in PvE situations. A lot of damage output, really good. It's always nice to have triple tap and reactive reload in the same roll. It's just really, really nice altogether. But alongside that, you also have that fast draw IS or the quick draw IS, which honestly, it really all depends on what you like running with your hand cannons, but it's all there. It's all there for you. Now let's just go over this Continental really quickly. So the Continental, I liked it because it had counterbalance, perfect balance, and it also had hip fire or rodeo. Alongside that, it's got quick draw IS to bring up the reload speed, or you can use the OEG rifle scope to bring up the range, which honestly, either one is really good, depending on how fast you want the reload speed or how good you want the range. Now, honestly, in Crucible, I would opt in for the range, just because it's easier to hit those crit spots with the auto rifle and get those headshot kills. And hey, auto rifles fire really fast. If you can get those headshots, you can melt targets very easily in Crucible. Okay, moving on. So that's the first 2 weapons, and then a little added bonus. The Continental is just an added bonus. It's not a part of our original 5 weapons, guys, so don't worry about that. Just something you should go and check out later. We got Dead Orbit next up. Extremophile. It's on the top 5 list. Extremophile is another auto rifle for this week. And lately, the Extremophile has been popping up on our list quite often. Now, it's just due to the fact that this is a really good gun. It's an auto rifle. It's got a buff now because of the Age of Triumph update and the previous update before Age of Triumph. And alongside both of those buffs, we also have a really good auto rifle that was good to use before those buffs happened. And we also have been getting some really good perks. So this one you can roll a bit different depending on what you're doing. If you're doing PvE or PvP. Now, I wouldn't recommend using a PvE style auto rifle. I don't think that exists. Auto rifles I just don't feel are good for PvE, but that's my opinion. Now, strict facts though, really quick, we've got Hidden Hand, which is really good, especially on the Extremophile. We've also got Small Bore, which is also really good. You can lower that reload speed, you can up the magazine, and you also get increased range and stability, which is really good. So, lowering that magazine, so what? Forget about that reload speed, okay? The reload speed is not important. It still has a really fast reload speed. It's an auto rifle, and it's got some really nice range, a really good rate of fire, and it's also, alongside that rate of fire, has some really nice impact for the rate of fire, or the amount of rate of fire that it has. And it's also got some really nice stability. Then, or you can opt in for Rodeo, which reduces the severity of the weapon's recoil, which is also nice. And then you also have Snapshot. I would recommend using the Snapshot in PvP situations, but if you're going to run this in a PvE situation, run the armor-piercing rounds. I don't recommend running it, as I said before, in a PvE situation like the Raid or the Nightfall, but it still has that armor-piercing rounds, and you also get the increased range from that with a little bit of armor-piercing, over-penetrating targets damage. So on, say, yellow heads with shields, really good for that. And next up, Steady Hand IS. Don't use the OEG rifle scope. Don't use the MD reflex. You want the Steady Hand IS. You'll get your reload speed back, and you'll also get more stability. It's really important with an auto rifle to have as much range and stability as you can. So with this, you're getting that stability back up, and you're also going to get your reload speed back up for going and picking small bore, which is crucial. And you also get increased magazine, so why not? So, next up, we're moving on up to the Keystone. I personally am going to add Keystone to the list due to the fact that this roll isn't very bad. It's got crowd control, which is always nice. You've got perfect balance. You've got armor piercing rounds, or you've got quick draw. Now, I would recommend running the crowd control, perfect balance, and quick draw, and then running the focus lens, or you can run the reflex, depending on which sight you like the best. I would recommend the focus lens the most, though. It's sharpshooter scope. It's for long range, high enhanced target acquisition, and it's just good for those critical headshots from a long range across a large gap in a Crucible map. And then, say you're at close range, bring out that shotgun, or maybe even that overpowered sidearm from the Crucible meta right now in the Age of Triumph update. Now let's move over all the way to the new Monarchy for our last weapon. And I mean, we got a long way to walk, so let's just fast forward there really quick. Okay, Executor Hideo himself. Before we get into new Monarchy, I'd like to make a couple side notes really quick. So this week was the most difficult week out of the last 3 weeks that we've had over the Age of Triumph update. And what I'm talking about is picking the top 5 weapons. I know I added in that bonus weapon, the Continental, but that's also due to the fact that there's some better auto rifles out there that I would recommend more over the Continental. But that Continental seemed to stand out quite a bit, and I just wanted to give you guys a little side note. If you weren't interested in any of the 5 weapons I chose this week, there is other options. Go and check them out. The Continental is actually pretty good this week, but not the best auto rifle. It's still going to work, it's just not the best. Now that Extremophile though over at Dead Orbit, I mean, you got to go and try that out because, I mean, hell, almost any roll on that thing's amazing. So what does New Monarchy have this week that we can go over? Well, again, it took me a while to find this weapon and really choose it to put on the list, but it stood out to me over all of the other weapons that are available in the tower right now. So it's going to be the Assembly 2. Yes, the auto rifle. The auto rifle is actually pretty decent this week. The Assembly 2 auto rifle, to give you a little side note, it's like the Necrochasm. If you've used the year 1 or even year 3 Necrochasm, you know it's got a really high rate of fire. It fires like a 56 round magazine in no time. It empties the magazine, and it's got horrible stability and horrible range. But if you know how to handle the recoil, it's actually fairly decent, and it can melt Guardians. And also alongside that, it's got the exotic perk with that Curse Thrall explosion. So if you kill somebody, they blow up in a Curse Thrall explosion. That was buffed up because it used to be only precision kills that did the Curse Thrall explosion. Now it's any kill. You can shoot them in the foot and they'll explode, which is pretty cool. But this weapon is the baby version of the Necrochasm, and a lot better than Husk of the Pit. I mean, if you ever use Husk of the Pit or the Eidolon Ally in Crucible, you will know what I'm talking about. They suck. Like, horribly suck. But if you get this one, this is moreover the baby version of the Necrochasm. It's got a full 100% rate of fire. It's got a really low, like 5% impact, which is absolutely low, but whatever. We've got a little bit of range, a little bit more stability, and even more reload speed, making it pretty good, especially with 56 rounds in the magazine. With that really high reload speed, you get a lot of rounds out really quick. But that's not the only reason why this is going to be good this week. You've got Hidden Hand alongside that Perfect Balance. These two in hand together are going to increase that stability and also hit those precision shots way easier than the Necrochasm ever could. And that just makes it even better. And it's also a legendary, so you don't have to take up your exotic slot. So you can use, like, I don't know, the Icebreaker or the Trespasser in your special section, or maybe even the Gallahorn or one of the swords that you want to use in your heavy. Doesn't really matter what you use, just know that this is an option for you. Alongside that though, if you think that your magazine is emptying way too often and you feel like you're running out of ammo and you have to reload a lot, you've got that extended magazine. I know, it's a bit ridiculous. Why give a full rate of fire low impact auto rifle that fires 56 rounds like in 2 seconds more ammo? I know it's ridiculous, but it's there. So running the top row, awesome. But the scopes, you're going to want to run the Sure Shot IS to increase that stability just a bit more, and your reload speed, allowing you to reload even faster with more ammunition, Perfect Balance, and Hidden Hand. And then you also have OEG Rifle Scope, just in case you need a little bit more range. Now, I wouldn't recommend this scope, just because you're going to be up close and personal with an auto rifle, and you're going to want that Sure Shot IS, that quick reload speed, because if you're up close and personal and in everybody's face, then there's going to be people pretty close to you, and if you run out of ammo, you're going to want that fast reload speed and that stability to counteract anything that people throw at you, and make sure that you can aim down the sights and hit them in the head, because the faster you hit them in the head, the more kills you're going to get. And there you have it, Guardians. That's the top 5 weapons of this week, alongside a little added bonus, which was the Continental from the Crucible. Not the Crucible, but the Vanguard Quartermaster. So there you have it again, Guardians. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And as always, if you have any weapons out of any of the vendors that you would prefer over any of these, leave them down in the comment section. Explain why you would like those more than the other ones I've showcased in this video, and help people out. It's all up to the community to help each other out and get the best weapons for that Crucible, or for that Nightfall, or maybe even that raid. Also, we're all friends here, so thank you all for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. And as always, stay violent, be privileged, Guardians.
Oh, hi. VPG isn't here right now, but I guess you enjoyed the content. So over there is a logo you can click on. That will allow you to subscribe. More content up there, and behind the scenes daily content over here on the vlog channel. There you go. Enjoy.